You are muted. I'll yeah.
Yeah, I think that should be fine.
Yes. Yes. Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
We have about 50 people. We will have more, but we can begin with the introduction.
Okay.
I'll briefly set the context and then I'll hand it over to you, ma'am.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. We'll do
Yeah.
that.
So this series of webinars, we are calling it Back to eVidya School. That symbolizes that this whole episode is a sample of what we do in the classrooms, right? The way we connect with children and we teach them remotely. This is a simulation of that. Uh, it is called Back to eVidya in one aspect that way. And the other is we run a campaign. eVidyaloka is currently running a campaign on Give India, where we try to ensure that all our children get back to school once this lockdown is over. So there, Back to eVidya School has two connotations, and these are the two. So every Saturday we have webinars by eminent people sharing their expertise. And this week we have with us Meenal ma'am, who is an educator and teacher trainer. She has worked abroad. She has been a teacher trainer while she was in India. She has worked in the rural region. I mean, she has got everything that one would take to call a master of, educating remotely, understanding rural India, and it's completely relevant to the eVidyaloka context. So here we have with us Meenal ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Anand. Good morning, everyone. Little bit, a bit too early here. It's 6:30 where I am in the morning. So excuse me if I doze off or something. But yeah, thank you, Anand. Not really a master. I have been a teacher for many years. I started off with my career in India, and then I've had the opportunity to teach so I did my teaching qualification from UK, and then I have had the opportunity to teach in British schools in the Middle East as well. And before I got into that, I have also been a teacher trainer, and as a part of which, and this was in India when I worked with rural schools in Gujarat. And this is something which I quite enjoyed, and kind of a passion which I look at going back to, where my roots are. And I think eVidyaloka has given me a great opportunity to kind of do something which is so gratifying. And I'm sure you all agree with me. It is so gratifying, and it's a brilliant thing, brilliant platform. So without much ado, what we'll do is, the way this has been structured is, we will leave, I'm sure you would have a lot of questions. We'll leave it towards the end of this. This is a 1 hour session. So we'll leave it towards the last 10 minutes of the session, if that's okay. And in any case, I would be reachable. I'll share my email and the presentation that I would be using. So hopefully you should have access to all that. Okay, right. I think we can get started. This session would be recorded anyway, so you can go over it later on. Just one more thing. I mean, the title says effective use of technology in engaging students. Now, I'm a teacher, not an IT expert. So I'm not going to be teaching you how to use technology or how to run an app or something. It's more to do with how can we use that in classroom as teachers to engage students, because I mean, engagement does become an issue sometimes, and especially now, with online teaching and learning, it's quite important to keep them engaged. So the focus is more on how to use these tools, simple tools, basic tools, for just keeping them engaged. Ho sakta hai, that you might have used these tools, you might be using these tools, but I'm just going to explore different ways to use them in classroom. So I'm just going to share my screen, and let's just get straight on with it. Okay. Anand, I think you might need to enable me to, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, should be able to now. There you go.
Yes.
So, engaging students through effective use of technology. Now, the agenda, what I would like to include, hopefully, is, I've just included a few tools, podcast being my favorite one, um, classroom tools, various tools that we use for, student engagement, sometimes also helpful for teachers, assessment tools, and presentation tools. And then we'll move on to question time towards the end. Okie dokes. Right. Now, first of all, before we get started, why do we really need to rely on technology? It's something which is, what more can be more useful than technology right now? We're all locked down. I mean, at least I am still home. Most of us are. Children are home. This is a great way to connect and carry on with ongoing education. Interactivity, it's much more interactive. Students who may be hesitant, reluctant to raise their hand in classroom might feel more comfortable if they are, on their own in front of a screen. So that's one of the reasons. Free of resources on the internet, there is plenty out there. I'm going to share a few with you today. Okay. Okay. Reproducible, you don't have to keep making the same worksheet again and again. It can be saved. You can modify, you can edit it for different ability students. So it can be customized. I have changed a lot of my presentations I used in English. I have just had to change the text in Hindi and made it suitable for the class I teach. So it's, and revisiting the content in absence of teacher, or just to go over it again. Understand abstract concepts. At this point, I mean, I'm a science teacher. I teach science from year 7 all the way up to higher secondary. So pardon me if a lot of my examples come from science. I'm very conscious about that, but I'll just let you know. Okay, so podcasts. Now, this seems like a fancy word, probably not that fancy, but at the moment, it's just about recording an audio file. I will share an example with you. But how can we explore this? Okay, so it's just basically literally an audio file. What I did, for instance, to make just something different from textbook questions and answers, or just, the didactic or the usual way that we are used to teaching. And when children get involved, they become more responsible learners, independent learners. And I'll share an example with you in a minute. And they can actually make meaning, make sense of what they're learning rather than just being passive learners. So that's one of the reasons. And when they start taking a level up, start using it with other students, then, for instance, I had Dheeraj, I teach in Satbunga High School, that's in Nainital, in Uttarakhand. Now, there is this lad, Dheeraj, there's another lad, Samir, and we are exploring the topic on space at the moment. And I was like, okay, Dheeraj, do you want to summarize what we've learned so far? You don't have to tell me right now. You don't need to write, if it's a problem with writing down or with language. This is a great tool. And he was more than happy to. He recorded a little, summary of the topic, and he shared it with me. So so one of the ways is to give them information and then let them comprehend it. Okay. So for example, I'm going to share my just bear with me. There you go. Hopefully you should be able to see my screen. This is something which I wanted to share what Dheeraj shared with me with the rest of the class. At the moment, we know not everyone has access to internet, but
Ma'am, we are still on the Y podcast screen.
Right, okay.
I think you can stop the screen share and start again and choose a different window.
Sure, okay, I'll do that. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Right, there you go. You should be able to see now. So, Is that all right, Anand?
Yes, we can now
Yeah,
see.
okay. Okay, brilliant. So what I created was something very basic. It's literally EduBlogs is a tool which helps create free pages. You can create a class page, you can write your blogs, and so on. So I went on EduBlogs. These templates are readily available. I haven't designed anything. Okay, it's all there. You can choose the theme that you like. Just put up a snapshot of our Skype session there, and I gave them this link, which is on the top. So and then I just uploaded what they shared with me, and they are so thrilled. Dheeraj, so I've just put this up. Um, you know what? I might have to reshare with the sound on, otherwise you won't be able to hear the sound. So I'm just going to share a very short clip of what he's shared with me. So I'm going to share with computer sound. Okay, there you go. So there you go.
सौर मंडल में 9 ग्रह होते हैं, बुध ग्रह, शुक्र ग्रह, पृथ्वी ग्रह.
So the point is, he sent this to me on Skype, and all I had to do was just upload it here. Then we looked at, we were talking about landing on moon, and there is a really good resource in Hindi about the documentary. It was brilliant. They can have a look at it later, whenever, share it with their parents, share it with other children, and just get that feeling of pride and achievement in what they are learning. You can explore this page later on. It's accessible. I've uploaded the textbook pages for them to, because right now some of them may not have the resources at home. Then there are other things. Samir, we were looking at this International Space Station, which is going past over India a few days ago. So what I did was I just shared the timings, and I just told them, see if you can spot it, see if it's there. And Samir actually, when he, was kind of thrilled by the idea, that this is something man-made. There are people in there, up there. And he looked it up and he spotted this. I'm just going to play this. There you go, this spot here. He took the video. I did not ask him to. He just volunteered to take the video. And he shared his experience here in an audio file, which is brilliant. So the point is, something like this on I use it. I mean, there are plenty of other, there's WordPress and there's all sorts of free resources there, but they get the sense of achievement. Okay, so going back to podcasts, this is what another thing that could be, just you can record a podcast, a simple audio file on your phone, nothing hi-fi. You can use podcasting tools like Audacity, but let's not, like I said, let's not get into a lot lost in technology that much. The focus is on education. So simple audio file on your phones, that's it, transferred onto, you can just upload an audio file. Trust me, it's really, it's quite user-friendly, the EduBlogs. Right, so I uploaded my podcast on the phases of moon, how do they change, and then I just gave them this worksheet, this activity. So they just listen to it, they can replay it, and they can answer the worksheet. Okay. So that's another way to use it. So that's one of the things. Then, it depends, how creative we can be summarizing a subtopic. It could be, let's say we're talking about plants and just summarizing about different parts of the plant. A lot of students prefer listening rather than maybe reading. I mean, we're not replacing reading, but once in a while, it's a good change for them as well. I've just listed various things you could do with podcasts. This one for English, I think it's brilliant. Accents, pronunciations. I mean, the school where I teach in Sabunga, they are absolutely blessed, and they're absolutely brilliant with making an effort to, say, for instance, name the names of planets in English, or various other keywords. But we can use that to teach. So, and we can use their recording to check if they've got it correct or not. So that's a great way to do this offline. And, like Samir recorded the International Space Station recording events, you can say, okay, can you just narrate the festival of Holi that you had? It's about descriptive skills, describing, using vocabulary, a narrative, and just being more observant. It could be just going to the farm and just observing various things, record it. There's so much that they can be, tapped upon from one recording. Okay, so this is all what students can do. And as teachers, we can, again, a description, a procedure. Okay, I'm going to talk about, for example, a practical about, I don't know, it could be, say, testing the leaf if it's making any starch. And so I say 1 or 2 steps and then ask them to use that as a prompt, continue to, add on the next steps. Again, same thing, pronunciations. This is another great thing. So inviting guest speakers. Now, we have this health talk on one of the days, apart from the subjects. So I was talking, so obviously the topic is COVID at the moment. And in fact, yesterday I was talking to that, we were talking about good hand washing techniques and all that. And I was like, right, why not have someone who's an expert in this, who has got a medical background, who can give them more kind of information, sound advice without causing any panic, and then just put up the audio file on my on the the web page. So having guest speakers to record and then uploading that podcast, it's just an audio file, isn't it? Uploading it there. I would have shared it with you. I actually have it with me. There were some technical issues. Sorry about that, but I will upload it soon after this. So the guest podcast goes there. And we have it, we can use it further for, interviewing questions. So students, give them a topic, prepare on this, come back tomorrow, and then they can either answer in audio format, or it's just a different way to approach, learning rather than just textbook oriented. So like I said, I've added on a few more examples as to how can you approach this. I'm just going to move on. Newsletter for parents, another brilliant tool. Just a quick audio. If parents, we know a lot of these backgrounds, if they are not very comfortable with reading, for instance, you can just record, this is what they did this week or this month. A very, like a crisp snapshot of information that we would like to pass on. So podcasts, one thing, there's plenty I've got to share actually, and I'm mindful of the time. Again, in maths, for example, monthly puzzle, just make a habit, classroom routines, sketch notes. So you can play a podcast that, sunlight is captured by plants and whatever. And they can sit down with a piece of paper, and as they hear, this is about listening skills as well, they can sketch their interpretation, and it could be a very quick 5-minute activity. Right, so that's one of the things. Classroom timer, this is a very basic, simple tool, which can be used when you set them an activity and you want it timed. These are a couple of, I'm just going to, I think I'll have to do a new share. Right, have it here. There you go. So this is a link. This is all on the presentation. So when this will be shared with you, you'll have access to everything that I'm sharing with you. Okay. So don't worry about what's the web address and all that. It's all on the PowerPoint. So you can use any of these. There are plenty here. It's just adding a bit of fun element in there, and literally just setting time, and it can be used as a stopwatch, a timer, and so on. Okay, I'll let you explore that. It's a simple tool. Another one is word art. This is another great tool. Mind you, these are all free tools. Obviously, if you want to upgrade, you get access to data, different features, but trust me, the free versions are brilliant. And so word cloud is, let's say I'm talking about it opens up this page and you tell them, okay, this is starting a lesson. So let's say I'm going to start about, again, recapping this lesson on space. And I say, okay, can you name everything and anything that comes to your mind about space? So here, they've given you 3 columns. You just replace them. So let's say one of them says, Tushar says, Jupiter. Just type it up. Another word, Mars. Maybe another word, moon. You can just press enter and it goes on to the next. You can add another word and again enter, and so on. Okay, so you can go on adding as many words as they tell you. So these are their words. Everyone is giving you words. You just type it up, and then in the end, click on where it says visualize. Okay, the moment you do that, it creates like a word art. You can choose, you can do all those things with editing, colors, font, etc. There you go. It says shapes, fonts, layout, and so on. You can explore the art side of it, but this is something they see their work on the screen, and trust me, it's really encouraging and motivating. You can download this as well. It says, sorry, I've got my toolbars coming in the way. There you go. On the top, it says download, save, and so on. You can share it, etc. So word art is another really good tool that can be used to engage them more. Okay, going back to this, the other thing is Google Chrome extensions. I mean, you might be using this already. Not sure, but I think if you haven't, then, and I didn't know till like very recently that I was missing out on something so amazing. I've quoted 3 examples from Chrome extensions, but there are plenty, and I'll let you explore that. But just to give you a flavor of what I'm talking about, if you're using Google Chrome, obviously this is available just with Chrome, then there is something called, if you go onto Google and just search for Chrome Web Store, there you go. Okay, and then the ones I would highly recommend are, there's all sorts of, there's Web Paint, okay, and the second one where it says draw and text. Now, all you have to do is, I have already installed it. So when you click on, let's say if I go to add to Chrome, okay, add extension, and then it literally takes just, there you go, it has installed it, and then the little thing, the icon comes on the top. If you look right at the top, so when this comes up, I would just close it. There you go. And then on the top, I have got these little bits that you see on the top. That's where these are all the extensions I have added. Okay, so I'm going to go on to Web Paint. Now, what this tool does is, so let's open a website. Let's say I'm going to go on to NASA. Okay. Now, and here, I'm sharing this with students. I want to talk about, I don't know, educational activities, for instance. Let's go there. And if I want to highlight a piece of news or a piece of information, it could be any website, by the way. And on the top, this is Web Paint here. When I click there, it opens a little, this thing. Now, this is amazing because it helps you annotate right on the website. You can, so for instance, if I choose the text tool, and I'm going to choose a color that goes well with this blue background. Let's just go with white. Text tool, and if I, okay, lost my cursor somewhere. There it is. So, right, I can type here, this is the link. Okay, so as you can see, I can type here on the link on the website. Another great tool is you can annotate by, let's say, choosing this shape, this rectangle. I can draw around whatever I want to highlight. Okay, so let's say, just going to do that again. There's an undo and a redo button as well. So there you go. Now I want them to focus on on this bit and not get distracted by the other pictures. So choose this paint bucket and click outside the box, and it will only highlight that bit. Right? This is brilliant to just help them focus where you'd like them to. Okay, so that's web paint, and there are plenty of tools. There's another tool called Screencast-O-Matic. This one here. Again, you can add through Google Chrome extension, and you need a login with Google because it's a Google Store thing. So you need to have a Google account for that. When you click on that after you've installed it, just click on Launch Recorder, and I'm just going to, so open screen. And what this tool does is it does a screenshot. Okay, it could be a video, it could be you showing the, scrolling down a web page talking about something, and it just opens up as, there you go. You've got these dotted lines. You can choose how much you want to capture. So you can make this smaller. I just want so much. You can have the full thing like that. And then you can choose whether you want just the screen. Do you want yourself as well? You have those videos with the speaker's little video on the side. So if I say both, and then all I do is click on record. So when I click on record, it will start recording. So there you go. It starts recording whatever is happening. So when I'm scrolling down, as I scroll down, as I talk about this, it's not using my video right now because my video is being used by Zoom, but you would have this box here. You would have yourself talking, and whatever you're talking is being recorded. And you can, use this as, this can be then, and then you click on pause or stop. It then saves this, and you can use it for, upload the file, share it with students who've been absent, or just, help them go over the whole thing again. Right, so that's one of the tools. There you go, there's a pause button. When it stops, when it's done, just click on done and save. You can save it, it saves in your folder. Okay, right, I'm just gonna quit that now, and save, load, and it tells you where it's saved and so on. Okay, right, so that is one of the other Chrome extension tools which can be used. Okay, right, going back to our presentation. So try out small PDF helps you convert PDF files to Word file. Okay, many times I've had PDF files and I've wanted to edit it like a worksheet, but you can use this tool to edit it and convert to Word files. Okay. Another brilliant website is something called Flippity. Okay, these are just some examples. You can explore this. Like I said, I'm just giving you the tools and just telling you how can these be explored. but this is a brilliant tool. Random name generator. So let's say I've got, we're going to do a quiz. I'm going to ask you questions, and I'm going to choose your names at random. So all you do is go on Flippity, and let me show you how it looks like. Again, go back to, there you go. This is Flippity, and you have, I mean, have a look. All this is free. Okay, you can have these flashcards, the quiz show. I'll share an example. Random name picker. So all these tools, there are games. So if you go down, there are these crosswords, word searches, bingo, all these matching game, you know, the memory game where you can match picture with word. So this is a table written in English with a picture, those kind of things. So all you do is whatever tool you want, click on where it says instructions here. Okay. Okay. When I click on instructions and it says, this works with Google Slides. So again, you need a Google account. So make a copy of this template. Just click there, this template. And yes, I want to make a copy. It makes a copy on your Google Drive. So it might ask you to sign in. And I'm already signed in, but it might ask you to sign into Google. And then it has just come up with names here, and you can change these names. So I'm going to, you know, just select these names, and you can write the names of students that you have, and so on. Okay, and so on. And then and then what you do is just, if you look, first thing is go on to File, okay, and click on Publish to the Web. Okay, File and Publish to the Web. By the way, there is an option of adding photos, but we can probably talk about that at a later stage. So at the moment, once you've added all the names, go on to File, Publish to the Web, and then just say Publish. You don't need to do anything, just say OK. And that's it, it's done. I'm going to close this. Then look at the tab at the bottom down there. Next to demo, it says get the link here. Okay, so when I click there, you have this link here. Click on that and copy. You can either copy from there or just do Control-C. So copy that, then open a new web page. Okay, and I'm going to copy the link there and enter. And you have, I just added 3 names, but you've got all the names you would have added here. And just click there, just spin wheel, and it selects a name. And children love it. It's a simple thing, but they're so excited about whose name is going to come up next. So it's a brilliant tool, simple things, which just keeps them engaged and wanting to, you know, be a part of the whole activity. And then, you know, there are so many other features here where you can create groups of 2. I mean, I've only got 3 students, groups of 3. It just does it for you. Create 2 teams and so on. Seating chart, etc. I wouldn't follow the seating chart because we know our students better than Flippity. But, you know, this can be used as a random name generator in whichever format. So that's Flippity. Another thing it does, another tool here worth exploring is the, where's my Flippity gone? Let's go back, is the quiz thing, this one, quiz show. Okay. Again, instructions, same process, open this template, make a copy, and there you go. These are sample questions. We can replace all of these. So I'm just going to, you can change this and I can change the font. So I'm going to delete that question and type my own. And if you want, if you've installed a Hindi font on your computer, you can use that. which I tend to use. I use the Devanagari Hindi font, and then you can just, type in your own question. And so on. You can just fill it up. Now, the beauty is, let me share with you when we publish it. So once you're done changing all the questions, go on to File and Publish to the web. Okay, so it's published it. That's done. Okay. And then either you can just copy the link from there or get the link. I'm showing this so you know where the link could be found, and then copy that, open a new tab, paste it there, enter. And it's created a quiz. This is a brilliant tool, and you can have categories. So you can have world capitals. And so I did it in science. So we were learning, revising 5-6 different topics with it. So I had plants, animals, fibers, etc., etc. Pressure, energy, forces. And then as the marks increase, you can make it, you can have the difficulty level increasing as you go down from 100 points to 200. So it's just from simple questions to, which is the largest planet, to going down. For 200 marks, you might probably have how many times does the Earth go around the sun in 1 year, and so on. And then, so let's say team 1, you can decide how many teams, again, on the spreadsheet. So let's say team 1 says, I'd like to go for this one. So what is the largest planet? If they get it correct, you click on this little tick next to one, and they would have scored there. Again, click on the same white area, goes back to this. And then team 2 chooses, let's say, for 300 marks. And then if the answer is wrong, you click on the cross there, and then it goes back to this. Okay, so you can go on, you can have the leading team shows with the dot there, and so on. So you can, this is something which they quite enjoy. You can create the team on Flippity, or you can create the teams and they can use this to, for revision, quick quiz, and so on. So that's another tool on Flippity, and it's absolutely brilliant too. There are many more tools here. I'll let you explore the same process. Click on instructions, publish to, just edit it, publish to web, and then just paste the link. We've also tried this bingo, so you can have your own keywords, and then you can just publish it and create, a customized link. Works really well with primary students. They love this. Okay, right. Let's go back to where we were. So all these things are on Flippity, and it's a brilliant tool. So those were all classroom tools. And the last bit, and you can use this for assessment as well. That's why I've included assessment tools as well. And I'm sorry, I've got a lot packed in here. There is so much I wanted to share with you, which you can just go back to class and start using straight away. No complicated technology involved, but something you can just go and start using. And so I'm sorry if it's like really fast and there is a lot to take in, but everything's on the presentation and it will all be shared with you. So plus this session is being recorded, so you should have access to this at a later stage as well. Okay, this is the last bit, presentation. I know I can see there are a few hands being raised, and I'm just I will come back to all of your questions towards the last 10 minutes. Just bear with me. We will come to those questions in a minute. Okay. Thank you. So basic animation, just simple things, which I'm sure we all use. I thought I'd just bring in one or two anyways. Say maths, just put up this, literally, animation tool used appear and say everything about the letter, the number 9. So what's the square root? Okay, ask another kid, what is it, the prime number or not, and so on. You can add as many. Same way with science keywords, English, examples of preposition, give me different examples, and so on. So, simple animation, but it engages them. This is something my really lousy attempt at making. This is a lesson on forces, and I wanted to show a bigger force, and the movement happens in direction of the larger force. So larger arrow, the car will move in that direction. They are thrilled about the car moving, actually. So it's just, keeping them glued onto that. Mostly works. I wouldn't say every time, but mostly it does. Okay. So that's basic animation. There are plenty of examples. In the rest of the slides, I'll let you explore later on. Another good tool is Quick Match. Again, it's so let's say I've got this planet. I want them to identify which one is it, and they can click, or they tell you and you can click. I mean, I know we use just through Skype, there's one monitor. Not every student or students do not have their own devices. I'm very mindful of that. So they can ask you to click, or you can put them in teams as a competition, as a quiz, or just a general activity. And if they click on, let's say, Buddh Grah hai, then click there. That's not right. It goes back. Okay, try a few others. No. And for Shani, it will go and sit there. Okay, so these slides are simple animations, but with some animation more steps involved than just flying in and flying out. And I have shared these slides with you. You can, if you want to edit these, let me share with you how could you edit this. Okay, all you need to do is, I'm just going to stop share and go back to, I need to just end the presentation in order to share with you the actual, right, there we go. So let me share this. Okay, now in this PowerPoint, all you do is right click, so select this image. So I've given you these blank slides, so just right click on this image, and then it will ask you to change the pictures. Just add on a picture from the computer. So I just need to end this slideshow. Okay, right, select the image, right click, and change picture. And then you can choose a picture from your computer, upload any other picture, and just make your own customized. You can change these texts here, and so on. So these are, I've included blank slides where for this one, this is the correct answer. For another slide, there's all 4 boxes have got, for instance, let's just try this one. So let's go on to slideshow. And I'm going to share this screen. So new share, and let's go to that. Okay, now here, as we saw, that this is the correct answer. If I go to the next slide, and if I click, I don't know which, oh, this is the correct answer, choice 2. The next one, it's a 3rd one, and then the 4th slide, it's the 4th one. Okay, so all you have to do is just, when you copy the slide, if you want to make 10 slides, then copy the full slide, from the from the left-hand side panel, and paste it. So everything in it, all the animations go with it. Okay, the full slide. Okay, so that's one of the things. The other is picture reveal. This is another interesting one. Just click on that, and you ask them to guess what picture is hiding behind this. give them clues. Okay, the clue is it is found in space. Okay, still can't get it. Next one, what's the clue? It's one of the planets which has rings around it, and so on. So how do we address this? How do we create this? Again, I have shared with you the full PowerPoint, or I will be sharing, sorry. But with picture reveal, this one, all you do is literally just select, again, I might have to end this. So select these boxes. So all you do is go onto your home page. So there you go. And on the home tab on the top, home tab, sorry, right towards the end, you find something called find and replace. And next to find and replace is the selection pane. Okay. Now this selection pane, when you click on it, it comes up, something like this, where these are all the numbers on the board. Just remove this I symbol. Okay, so they all disappear. And then, so when you click on it, it disappears. And then you just select the picture and change it. Again, same thing, right click, change picture. And then once you've got the picture, again, click on this, I2. So it's in the home tab, selection pane. Okay, that's the one, selection pane. And you can click on it, it goes away again. The instructions are in the notes underneath the slides here. So there you go. There are these notes here. So if you click there, it's all there. Okay. So you can have 1, you can have 9, you can have 18, you can have more, and so on, depending on how many students. That's it really. There's just a couple more where, you can really just have pictures for them to memorize and match them. The activity. Then this is another good one where you've got these words here. Okay, let me share the slideshow version and I can actually show you. This is the last one and then we're almost done. Right, so new share. Okay, so you give them these 5 planets, remember them, and then you can use it in different ways, either as a memory game, and then they can remember, recall, and then you can say reset and it appears, hide all, will hide them all, and use it in different ways. A really good tool. And then you have for more words and more words. I've included these. Okay. I'll let you have a look at this sample lesson later on. It's just, I've used simple things. I'm going to jump to, sorry about this, I'm going to jump on to one bit which I used where it was just an assessment check of, for instance, Sahi Shabd Banaye, to Gharshan. And so clicking on it, this is literally just a next slide with the correct, but they quite like being a part of this, interactive. So basically the point is, it's just simple. It might be an overload of information right now, and I'm sorry, my email address is there, the PowerPoint will be there, the recording will be there, and it should be, I'm more than happy to, I will get back to questions now, and I'm more than happy to answer your emails. Feel free to email me. It's on, there you go, there's where it is. I really appreciate your Saturday mornings that you decided to come and join me. Thank you very much. I'm looking at covering these areas at some time in the future, hopefully. Okay, so let's look at, I've got a few questions in the chat box.
Yes, the questions are in the Q&A tab. I request all participants to direct their questions to the Q&A tab, so that they are in order and can be answered live. So there are 2 as of now. There were a few questions about registering with eVidyaloka. I have typed my answer to them. the
Okay.
ones about the webinar are still open.
Okay.
Can you see them?
Right. So that's fine. Thank you, Anand.
Yes.
Karan Singh. Karan ji, आपने पूछा है, may I share a similar link used by me to engage students? Of course, I'm not sure technically whether you would be able to share but you could, I mean, I'm not too sure whether you can share your screen here, the technicalities of that, but it would be brilliant if we all share these. And I'm sure there's so much for me to pick up, take away from what you are using. This is not exhaustive at all. There's so much more. It would be brilliant to just share what we use as tools and then, just try it out. So you can email that to me, or even share it with your eVidyaloka group, and that should work. Arvindji, any tools available for facilitating students in group activity? Well, I think I've just answered that. All those groups, group activities on PowerPoint. Students can be allowed to work in group for cross-learning at the same thing. Teacher can give support in their discussion. Yes, why not? We use those numbers where they score in a quiz. You don't have to have all maths topic or all science topics. It's always great to mix and match. So you talk about, say, Saturn as a planet. You can talk about spheres. You can talk about how many planets. So you can mix maths. You can bring in about describe the rings of Saturn, or describe that's your English. So mixing and matching, absolutely, always, always brilliant. Okay, I've got a link there currently. I'll have a look at that. How many hours training is essential? Oh, I think this is more to do with experience. So I did not undergo any training. I literally just tried, and I checked out, other teachers I work with, they shared something they used. I looked up some YouTube videos, which with really good help files there. I don't think it's just an ongoing thing, and I still have so much to explore. But sometimes we also need to be careful about not overwhelming the students with, like, you have everything flying in onto the slide with sound and clapping sound. That's a little bit too much. But it's just more, the more you use, the more comfortable you get. Okay, how do you encourage students to speak in English in the classroom? Is there any tool for this as well? Podcast, Ilaji. Get on to podcast audio files. Ask them to record. Tell them, don't worry, this is not a test. Feel at home. I mean, they are at home right now. Record, describe what do you see outside your main door. Describe nature, describe what do you see in the sky at night, whatever. Get them to talk one sentence, two sentences in English, and then you can give a feedback. And they quite enjoy this. It doesn't have to be on a website. They can just send it to you on Skype, on the LFH portal that we use. So that can be done, and they will find themselves more engaged. Chrome tools, extension, there are online dictionaries as well that you can use there. Okay, currently I will take a look at the link. Are these tools used only on Zoom? No, Urviji. Zoom is just a platform for me to present this to you. That's it. Tools are all on Google Chrome. They are on Flippity, those different websites. All those links are on the PowerPoint, which will be shared with you. Okay. Divyaji, the session was very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Educators can use it. Okay, I appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining in, actually. Online classes. Right age. Okay, this is a very debatable thing. It's, I think if I had a choice of just leaving the child to study on because home environments are not always supportive. Sometimes all that a child looks forward to is going to school. That's the only positive thing in their life. Sometimes it does. I've had students for whom just coming to school was they look forward to it. And so it's a being used in moderation. If it is not everything online. Doesn't have to be. You can connect on Zoom or connect on Skype like we do, but then ask them to do a project offline. So my students are working on a project in making planets out of paper mache. So they're going to make this 3D model, and we talk on Skype, give them instructions, they ask questions, and they go back and do that offline. So a little bit of input, because we are in strange times right now, and we can't really see them face to face. So at the moment, I think it might be a good idea. Okay, what is expected by eVidyaloka? I think I would leave that for eVidyaloka to answer that.
Yes, I will type an answer to that question.
Thank you, Anand. Yeah. Multilingual content preparation. Multilingual, I have used this for Hindi. My mother tongue is Gujarati. I've used it for Gujarati as well. And we have, it's just the font that you install in the computer. So these are free fonts. So you go to Vakil fonts. There are so many different Indian, just Google for Indian type fonts. Once you install, then it comes up on your font list. And the same things we use today, you just need to type in Hindi. That's it. It can be, it's just a tool, can be used for any language. Okay, both type of students who grasp fast. Yes, Shibiji, this is exactly where, you know, the first topic here on my screen, differentiation for different ability students. I mean, students are, I absolutely get that. It's about teaching the same topic with different approach. So one of the students can create a podcast on something, say record something if they're hesitating with, or not very good with language. Another student can write a worksheet on rings of Saturn. Another student can probably prepare cards, activity cards, and different ways. Maybe some students work better when they are paired up with another student, so put them in pairs. So some can probably just draw a picture, and they're good with, they feel more comfortable with that. So different approaches to teaching the same thing. But I agree completely. It is a thing which we all face, and which is fine, but just customize our approach. Any tool of ready-made animations for higher classes like structure of DNA. Right, Somilji, there is McGraw-Hill, you know, Tata McGraw-Hill. They have some great animations. They're all in English, but what I would do is mute it, don't play the sound, play the animation, and then explain in Hindi. So that's what I do. They love animations, I agree completely. So I have a list of sites. If you share your email address, Somilji, I can then send you a link to all those animation websites. And younger kids, again, younger kids love those things like classroom timer and, you know, random name generator and all that. Children love being given attention. Okay, they want to, it may be a shy student sitting in a corner, but these tools, colorful, it's colors, it's activity, it's animation, everyone's teaching, everyone's learning. It's not just me talking and they're learning, it's everyone's involved. And the website, you know, the edu blogs, they loved it. They are on the internet, they absolutely love that. So, you know, there are a lot of questions. I don't mind staying back and answering them.
Ma'am, another two questions you can make
yeah, sure.
an answer.
Sure. Skype meeting is provided as an option. Okay, I'll leave that for eVidyaloka. 2D animation from PowerPoint. Anisha ji, many कुछ slides थी मेरी जो जिनमें ये 2D animation, you know, obviously I haven't ventured into Photoshop and all that, but if you look at the presentation later on, a lot of slides, it's all mostly animation. Sanjay ji, maths. Go to, there is no device, but if you go to Google Chrome extension, there is an extension called Equatio. So I'm going to type it, I'm going to type the answer. So it's called Equatio. So instead of equation, just Equatio. Just don't write the N at the end. That's a Google Chrome extension. if you speak like volume of, I don't know, cylinder pi r square h, it will type all that up for you. It will type the square root brackets and everything. It's great. It's a maths extension. Wonderful. Children attentive. Oh, well, I've only got 4 students at the moment, but it depends on whether they have access to internet. But whatever it is, it's still great. I think it's great effort rather than a complete disconnect. Motivational speaker, yes, I have had, the guest lecture I was going to share, which I couldn't. He's a doctor, in fact, he's my dad, he's in Mumbai, and he has shared his views on staying safe during Corona times. It's his guest lecture. The technical issues, I couldn't upload it. I will upload it now on the EduBlogs link. Okay. The link, it's not on this, but it's on the link on one of the slides to the web page I created. Okay. So I think I have mostly covered them all. Feel free to email me, like I said. And I quite enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I've missed out. I'm sure there's been a lot missed out or not able to address everyone's questions. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you to eVidyaloka. I absolutely enjoyed this. And I look forward to hearing from you, and just keep this going. It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Definitely, a lot of people have enjoyed your session. I mean, the comments kept flowing. If you can see, a lot of people have been thanking you throughout for conducting this session and for sharing all the information that you did. A lot of questions kept coming up, asking whether the video and the links will be shared. I have promised them we will, and we will, after this, we will curate this recording. We'll just make it into a shareable format and send it by email. We had yes, ma'am.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just saying, I would really want them to have this presentation, because all that I talked about is on these slides.
Yes.
And I did go really fast. So if they have the tools, it would be very helpful. They can start using it straight away.
Definitely. We'll facilitate that. Yes, the objective here was to share for one person who is using amazing tools to share with the fellow volunteer teachers. And definitely we are positive that a lot of kids will benefit. A lot more kids can experience all this fun ways of learning. So thank you very much. I'm just sharing a link which leads you to eVidyaloka's campaign. You can have a look at that. Yes, as I said, we'll share the details with you. Please take note of ma'am's email ID also. It is here on the screen. You can take a screenshot if you want. Anyway, it will come in the slide when it comes to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. The ultimate goal is children.
Yes.
The whole point of this is to reach out to these children, and that's the only purpose at the moment, empowering so we can all share and learn from each other. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you all participants. Thank you. See you again next Saturday with a new topic and more information. Thank you, ma'am.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Ma'am, you are the host technically, so ending the meeting will be with you.
Okay, should I just end it now?
Yes, please end it. Yes.
And where should I send you the PowerPoint?
In the email that we corresponded on, Anushri, through Anushri.
To Anushri. Okay, yes, I'll send it to Anushri. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Because the one I sent to her before, I've made some changes, so I'll send a new one today.
Okay. Definitely.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.